my song. Let's sing it. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Come on, it's gonna be fucking awesome. You know the words. It's gonna be fucking awesome. That's it, sing. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Yeah!
Howdy, 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 everybody. Hey, hey, hey. It's the weekend, and we are going to keep your spookiness going. Welcome to Coolest Alive, where we cut through the noise and spotlight only the fire. The picks and classics that'll make your week pulse harder. I'm your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder, the coolest man alive, broadcasting from the very edge of Blacklight District Studios. It's Saturday, and today we are fucking celebrating the greatness of genuinely being scared. But first, let me remind you to join us Monday through Friday with 5 short recommendation podcasts every week. Mondays is the best in music. Tuesdays is top shelf animated films and cartoons. Wednesdays are the greatest graphic novels and comic books. Thursdays is all-time live action films. And Friday is the wild card featuring a rotation of the best in books, documentaries, video games, plays, stand-up, whatever I'm feeling like. This past week, I did... What did I do? Did I do Marvel Snap this week, I think? Yeah, Marvel Snap for Friday. Love that game, which is a mobile game. So just, things that I love that, sort of just relating to the culture and stuff that like might appeal to you as well. Anyway, that's 5 brief, heartfelt media recommendations a week, Monday through Friday from now on, plus this hour-long show every Saturday. And, hold up, a quick message from my company, Blacklight District Studios, in partnership with Podcast Playground, which produces this show. Wanting to thank, we just finished our campaign at $6,000 something. Even though you can get in late on the campaign for a little while until I get my orders in, kind of thing. So orders will stay open for a second, but there's a slight increase to still get the stuff that everybody else got their hands on. So you can get in there late, but thank you to everybody who got in there and pledged. We really appreciate it. This is all awesome. And the next thing that we're going to be working on is this magazine. And basically it's an anthology comic book magazine. We always have something going on Kickstarter. We're going to be fulfilling this. Once we fulfill this, we'll be launching promotion of the magazine Kickstarter. So I'm excited for that. I hope you'll be excited for that too. And then after that, we're working on hemp plastic and bringing some hemp plastic toys into this world. So anyway, if you're not tuning in weekly to my Sunday Esoteric Wisdom podcast, Everything They Don't Want You to Know, where we unpack the hidden secrets of the universe, you should fix that. Your mind is starving. Feed it. The last episode was on the moon. Oh, the moon. What an interesting subject. Check out the show. Anyway, let's get into today's episode, which I like to call the 13 scariest movies I have ever seen, personally. And now, I will say that the majority of these movies, well, I'd say there's probably a third of them that I saw as I was a teenager, becoming a film guy, and there are a bunch of them though that I saw as a kid, and just really stuck with me because of the timing. And I'm going to kick things off here. I was kind of almost wanted to just dig in from number 1 on. Should I just do that? Yeah. Okay. All right. We're just going, we're instead of doing the opposite countdown, we're going with number 1. We're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Because I did try to put this into some order for me about the movies that have, legitimately scared the shit out of me the most. So for me, number 1 with a bullet, I think just overall, Evil Dead. An honorable mention to Evil Dead 2. The original Evil Dead is it's pure nightmare fuel. It's grainy and relentless, and it's just soaked in chaotic, demonic energy. I mean, it really, you gotta take a shower after you watch it. There's something almost too real about it. Yeah. It's just like it was made in a possessed place with a possessed camera and a possessed crew. There's just something really unnerving about it. And Evil Dead 2 refines this chaos into a perfect blend of horror and slapstick insanity, really. It's very funny. But at the same time, it's still dark like the first one, but it's like a little bit easier to handle with the humor, even though it's like a dark humor. But that first one, man, that's where the horror feels dangerous to me. It really was just like, I was like, oh, whoa, this movie's like, especially too, because I don't typically get particularly scared of a movie. Scared of a movie? Well, scared. I'm not easy to scare. I'll put it into some perspective, to be honest. I'm not the biggest horror fan, even though I've become one because my son Cassidy is a big horror fan, and my girlfriend Julie is a big horror fan. So I end up watching a lot of horror movies with them, and I try to get into anything that I can with the people that I love. So I've definitely become more open to horror, and I watch a lot more horror. But most horror generally doesn't frighten me. It kind of like makes me giggle. But the claustrophobia and like the danger that you feel being in this cabin in the woods with this dude and his friends, it's just really like I said, after Evil Dead 1, you gotta like take a shower. Evil Dead 2, you can maybe survive, but it's rough. Of course, I recommend Army of Darkness, as well. Army of Darkness is great if you haven't seen that. That one's the third one in the series, and it's very funny. It's a lot less scary, but it's great and absurd and just ridiculous and fits with the 1, 2, 3 of the movie. But I think it acts a little bit more as like a direct sequel to Evil Dead 2. Yeah, man, Evil Dead 1, that is my number one here. So, in an effort to include more in the 13, I popped Evil Dead 2 in here with it as well. Perhaps that would have went somewhere on the list, but, So, number 2 for me, John Carpenter's The Thing. It might be the most paranoid movie ever made. And I mean, that's the beautiful thing about it. And I'll talk about that in a second. It's the ultimate trust no one nightmare. Men trapped in the Antarctic with a shape-shifting alien that could be anyone. The effects are grotesque and unmatched even today. And what makes it truly terrifying is the isolation and the slow unraveling of everybody's humanity who are on this base where this thing starts impersonating everybody, and they're basically trying to figure out who it is. It might be you. The reason why this is just such a great and powerful film, period, but also just scary, because it's about something that's scary in reality: distrust, real distrust of people, when people can't trust each other. And it uses this metaphor of this alien coming to this very isolated base to create a circumstance that is just the ultimate parameters to teach these lessons, really, and just to do, because you learn so much just sort of observing the scenario that these people are in, not trusting each other and the different personalities and how they react. Of course, you got Kurt Russell in there. He rules. I didn't mention the greatness of what's his face? Now I'm not remembering from Evil Dead. I didn't plan to like pull up a lot of actors' things and do the IMDb thing. I'm not going to do it this time because I want to talk about the existential dread of these films and not all of the wonderful actors in there. Bruce Campbell, yes, Bruce Campbell is lovely in Evil Dead. Yeah, I mean, Kurt Russell's great, except that because you like Kurt Russell, it's like you don't want to see anybody you like go through this harrowing scenario. It's sort of keeps getting worse and a little scarier and more gnarly, and just for those people who haven't seen the ending, I won't kick you off in the ending, but Evil Dead and The Thing, I didn't see these movies until I was like, I don't know, above 17 kind of thing, maybe 15, 16. It's like whenever I started to become a real movie buff and I started working at Blockbuster Video and stuff like that, even though maybe I'd seen some of them. Evil Dead, I'm trying to remember, But let's just say, I was my mid to late teens, and I was like, "Whoa!" These movies just stuck with me from the moment I saw them. Seeing it a little younger, just a little, and it's sticking with me very much, is another movie with an honorable mention added on. Number 3, Alien and Aliens. Alien in particular, just the beginning, that chest burster, and man, I can't tell you how many times I thought about that. This movie is a blueprint for sci-fi horror. One crew, one ship, one perfect organism stalking them in the dark. It's not just that the creature H.R. Geiger design is scary. It's, just so many of the mechanisms of what it does, creating so much claustrophobia. There's this egg that's been planted in your stomach, and the silence of space, and even the tagline, "In space no one can hear you scream," and just like the helplessness of the alien thing. Once somebody's been hurt too badly to go on and they're dying, or it's gnarly, and it connects closely enough to the reality of certain bugs and things, and what's like within the realm of possibility. And Aliens turns it into a war movie, and nails the adrenaline, but Alien itself is like the haunted house in space. Alien is really just, it's a great one, and such a lesson in elegant filmmaking. Really, it's excellent. Highly recommend Alien if you've never seen it. Okay, so number 4, again, another one probably around the same like time frame for me. And I'm just sharing that because I do think that like some of these things, I have to admit, this is a little imprinted upon me, but, because this is my list of things that like really scared the crap out of me the most. David Fincher's Seven. It, isn't horror in the traditional sense. It's a descent into the psychology of evil. A serial killer using the 7 deadly sins as his canvas. It's a masterpiece of dread, man. You don't see the horror, you feel it. It's another one of those ones that just makes you feel so fucking icky. But at the same time, you're like just so intrigued, and it's laid out so well, it's shot so well, it's performed so well. Brad Pitt, Gwyneth Paltrow, Morgan Freeman. See, I like when I just do them off cuff, like the people I remember. It's just a wonderful cast, and of course Kevin Spacey is John Doe. And of course, I won't spoil it, but the ending, dude, it still hits like a fucking sucker punch decades later. My girlfriend still loves to, that's like her favorite quote all the time is, "What's in the box?" If I say, "What's in the box?" she's like, "What's in the box?" So now I'm always ready for it. What's in the box? Because my chick is sick. And she, in particular, she's a big horror fan, but that is like her particular favorite genre of horror, the psychological horror. And I've turned her on to a lot of movies like that. And this next one is a little bit like that as well. I believe this one she hadn't seen, and I showed this one to her. It's an excellent one. So I saw it like just a few years ago when I showed this to her. But number 5 for me, Frailty with Bill Paxton. Frailty is one of those quiet and underrated gems that gets under your skin, just like these other ones that I'm talking about. Bill Paxton's directorial debut, and he's haunting in it as an actor, a father convinced that God has commanded him to destroy demons living amongst humanity. And he's dragging his children along with it. And now, his sons are torn between their faith and fear and, loyalty to their father. And man, by the end, you are not sure what's real anymore. And it is quite the mind fuck, just in so many different ways, just the pressure of a father and children. And, I look up to my father just like so much. It's like if my father told me to do these things when I was a younger kid, I mean, like, what would I do? He's involved in getting all this shit going. Sorry, I just had to get the grinder going off in the background. My buddy just got home. I was trying to slip in my record while I was here. Heading over to my kids tomorrow for Halloween stuff. I'm recording this early because that's what you got to do sometimes to get the stuff done. And usually this episode will probably be recorded like a day earlier. Usually I'm doing like Monday recordings for all the main week shows, and then this guy I'm trying to get in, Thursday or Friday. But close rather up to the minute as I can be, so that I can get a lot of stuff going. Not too loud in there, please, guys. All right, so frailty, man. Just to wrap up what I was saying, it really gets under your skin, and in a very specific way that I've never experienced really with any other movie. Frailty. It's just like I don't know what you want to necessarily say the metaphor of what frailty is about, but for me, it's like the human spirit and people and what they can be driven to by the people they love, and it's a good one. Frailty, very, very cool. Kudos to Bill Paxton, who sometimes I've hated in certain roles, but Bill's really great in this. Anyway, at number 6, we've got Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. This anthology film is basically a Lost Creepshow 3, and it's awesome. You've got Steve Buscemi raising a mummy in the short Lot 249. A hitman hired to kill a demonic cat in Cat from Hell, and the devastating gargoyle love story, Lover's Vow. Okay. And then in between, you got Deborah Harry playing a witch, cooking a kid who's telling her these tales to stall his own death. It's fucking gruesome, clever, and somehow nostalgic horror perfection. It really is just amazing that all 3 of these stories, and when I went to go kind of brush up on all these things, because I couldn't watch them all at the same time, but when I went to go kind of brush up on the plots and stuff, because I wasn't sure, I thought that the Lot 249 was a part of this thing, and I only vaguely remember the cat thing, but that was I do remember it being very creepy, Cat from Hell. But Lot 249, the mummy thing, it was almost just as fucking freaky out. All about these like students sicking this fucking mummy on this dude, and the mummy's oh god, there's a certain scene in this movie where it makes a hook out of a coat hanger and puts it up the person's nose, and they're pulling the brains, oh my god, out of the nose. Fucking freaked me out. And I don't want to spoil stuff about the fucking gargoyle story, but the gargoyle story is dope. And the the opening is great, the closing is like, what fuck? Like I said, I don't remember the cat one in too many specifics, but I do remember that one freaked me out as well. And I was reminded of Deborah Harry as the witch cooking the kids, and I was like, oh, that's right. And that was creepy too, because she's legit going to put them in an oven. It's a simple old thing. Like I've thought about that before, of like, man, and in a more real context, that's fucked up. Well, here it is, and it's, dude. If you haven't ever seen Tales from the Dark Side, the movie, it's great. And each one of the stories will creep you out in its own way. I really like all of them. And I saw these when I was younger, but I really feel like they hold up. I have seen it since. Not recently, but at a certain point in time, I was like, I want to see it. And it still was just as creepy. The fucking gargoyle thing and the mummy thing. I was gruesome and very clever. I loved it. Check that out. All right, at number 7, and maybe I need to watch this like a few more times. I've only watched it a few times, even though I owned it, because I was sort of blown away by it, even though I don't want to warn anybody about this shit, but it's fucking nuts. In the Mouth of Madness. This is Carpenter again, but this time diving into, I guess you would call it, Lovecraftian sort of madness, starring Sam Neill. He plays an insurance investigator searching for a missing horror novelist who's like, kind of Stephen King-esque, whose books literally drive readers insane. It's very meta, cosmic, and it's one of the few films that genuinely makes you question reality while watching it, especially by the end. I was just sort of like, oh my God. It is really dark. It's dark, man. And the next one we're going to talk about is really dark too. It really is one that will freak you the fuck out. I promise. You, if you like to be freaked out. But I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily like my favorite movie, like in general, like but it does what it does fucking fabulously. I got to watch it again to appreciate it a little bit more, as an slightly older and detached from the ending, which really always freaked me out. But there was something about it that I found, I don't know, I was just sort of like, I'd never seen a movie quite like it. Similarly, I would name number 8 on my list, Event Horizon. This one feels like The Shining in space, I would say. You got a rescue crew boards a ship that disappeared into a black hole and came back. Wrong. It's dripping with atmosphere, gore, and the kind of spiritual horror that makes you feel like you just basically looked into hell. I mean, literally, there are some scenes that are a look into hell itself. Towards the end of the movie, it is unsettling. It's slightly the sci-fi equivalent of like a Requiem for a Dream, not the kind of movies that I like to watch. And because it's so, I really haven't watched this one too much. There was a time, though, this is like another one of those like late teenager ones, where it was on like HBO a lot and stuff, and I ended up seeing just lots of pieces of it just over and over again, and I had seen it. I watched the whole, at a certain point I watched the whole thing. I'm not sure if I've necessarily watched it more than one full time through, but I've seen lots of bits of it, and it always kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. It's just, the space element definitely just added one more weird kind of strangeness to the whole affair. Event Horizon, yeah, it's definitely a fucked up kind of flick that'll freak you out pretty good. All right. At number 9, we've got Saw. The first Saw is still the best Saw. Forget the sequels. It's a perfect indie horror thriller. 2 men wake up chained in a gnarly bathroom, and we slowly piece together the twisted morality play behind it all. Low-budget brilliance with one of the most memorable final twists in horror history. I love Saw. The first fucking Saw. What is it? Carrie Elways and Danny Glover. Man, I remember seeing the first Saw in theaters going, this is fucking dope. It really is. It's just a oof. I mean, but there's just so much body horror that is all self-inflicted largely. And the self-inflictedness of the sorry, I'm still recovering from being sick. I am better, thankfully. And my campaign's over now, so I can relax a little bit. But anyway, Saw is great, man. Really, the first one in particular. The other ones, they just get a little bit more and more contrived, but the first one just lands perfect. It's definitely on my top list of movies. Like, and again, I made this list based on how creeped out I was. I'm a little less creeped out by, oh man, the guy's got to break his arm or whatever, than I was by, the Event Horizon. And maybe that's because I've seen fucking Mad Max, where you're like, gnaw off your own arm to get away from the explosion. But anyway, I saw fucking A. Awesome. All right. At number 10, we've got The Descent. I don't know if you've seen The Descent. A little bit less well known. It's the guy who plays the Bear Jew from, what is it? Inglourious Bastards. He's a director. His name is Roth. Tim Roth, maybe? Not Tim Roth. No, Tim Roth's the actor. Something Roth. I'll maybe remember it as I talk about it. A group of women go spelunking and wind up trapped in the earth's bowels with a pack of blind, flesh-eating cave creatures. But the real horror comes from the claustrophobia and the unraveling relationships here. It's fucking brutal, primal, and absolutely unrelenting. I am a bit claustrophobic. So watching this movie creeped me out. Saw and The Descent I watched when I was like in my early 20s or mid 20s, like around when they came out. I think I just bought The Descent on DVD because I had heard good things about this guy, this Roth guy, the director. And I really did like it very much. Not that I watched it a lot because it creeped me out. So there you go. All right. Oh, I got to add an extra to the bottom of my list here, which I just forgot about, but like it's really pretty worthy, or at least, a little mention here. Okay, sure. So we're going down. And there's plenty more fucking great bits to come, if you want to hear about some more shit that like really scared me, even though we're getting towards like the lesser of the list, because these are just plenty of things that have gotten under my skin, but it's really like these specific times, these specific movies. So without further ado, we've got number 11 on the list, An American Werewolf in London. And honorable mention tied into this, The Fly, because there's just a similarity in the way I felt watching these, the fear that I had of these monsters. American Werewolf blends humor, tragedy, and transformation. Ooh, better than almost anything. And I'll talk about that transformation part in a second. The transformation scene is still unmatched, painful, human, and monstrous. And of course, The Fly deserves a nod for similar reasons. Cronenberg's, there's a reason why the Cronenberg term in what is it, Rick and Morty, this is a remake, and it's just tragic body horror masterpiece that makes Mutation very emotional, but like, oh my god, like it's just like it's all so everything looks so and then the Fly is like really gross, but the American Werewolf in London, oh my god, that transformation scene, I mean, and there's kind of multiple pieces that you get, but in particular, the particular transformation scene that everybody's talking about is when the face extends. And dude, they've got some fucking incredible American Werewolf in London, the original, like they've made multiples for the Haunted Nights in Universal Studios in Orlando. And if you go, like, because they get like a little bit of more budget every time, and they'll make another one so that the werewolf shows up multiple times. They've got like a dozen now, so the werewolf is fucking showing up everywhere. And they've got transforming ones and just giant hulking ones. It's fucking awesome. Yeah, dude, that transformation made the werewolf so real. There was some similar things going on with The Thing, our number 2 pick, and and in The Fly, and The Fly was maybe a little bit even like, I don't think I've even ever watched The Fly in its entirety because The Fly kind of creeped me out. So that's why I wanted to give it an honorable mention, because it made me feel similar things. But American Werewolf in London, I watched. The Fly, it just kind of creeped me out. I've seen lots of it. Again, one that I was probably catching on cable for a little while, but it was just a little too much for me, so I only would watch so much. All right. At number 12, getting towards the end here, and then I do have some honorable mentions that we'll just kind of blow by real quick. Number 12, Coraline. And this one's probably the most recent one on my list, and you might be going, Coraline? That fucking claymation kids movie or whatever? Don't be fooled by the animation, my friends. Coraline is nightmare fuel for kids and adults alike. It's about temptation, control, and the horror of being replaced by something that looks, like love, but isn't. And, just Coraline goes into this other world with these button-eyed parents, and they do whatever she wants, but they're just kind of soulless. They give her everything she asks for, and they want to sew her eyes. The button eyes, it's haunting. And the whole bit of it, it's haunting. It's very well done. It's very beautiful. Super great movie. And it is genuinely stirring and haunting and leaves you, I really think it has a lot of value and intellectually scary. And like perhaps maybe some of my honorable mentions would rival it in its scariness just a little bit because it's a different type of scary. But I recommend Coraline. Great movie. Okay. Number 13, final on the list before I get into just some honorable mentions. The Never-Ending Fucking Story, everybody. Yes, The Never-Ending Story, because horror isn't just monsters, baby. It's loss. The Swamp of Sadness scene with the horse. It's like destroys every kid who has ever seen it. And better than that, the fucking existential dread of the nothing. Still one of the most fucking existentially terrifying villains ever created, man. The nothing. It's just blowing everything away. These look like big, strong hands, don't they? Holy shit, man. Fucking freak a person out, brother. Oh my God. You know, it's a fantasy, yes, but, you know, it's one that reminds you what it feels like when hope dies. And worse than the nothing, worse than the fucking horse, is the wolf. That wolf, man, he haunted my dreams. I was so afraid of that wolf in that bush. And nowadays I might tell you that there's like a spiritual relationship to why I was so haunted by that wolf, because my family, like my brother Shane had this crazy past life regression where he was hypnotized and ended up telling the story that really kind of fit in with the type of films my brother Cody, his brother, had been making for a while. All these films about people leaving somebody behind. And in this story, he left my brother behind. He was eaten by wolves. And it was really crazy. And I don't know if somehow that ties into why this fucking wolf in the Never-Ending Story scared the fuck out of me so mad. But there are a number of scary things going on in the Never-Ending Story. And I know on some level, you know, people would discount it. It's just a wolf, but the nothing, existential dread. I mean, come on. It's like, wow, the Never-Ending Story, baby. All right. Some bonus fears. The Blob. I'll talk about that briefly. Jaws. Pet Cemetery. And thought of it while I was talking earlier. Willow. Okay, so real quick, and Willow like barely counts because it's just sort of a few moments, one in particular really, but each of these guys earns a mention for pure primal terror, all like on a different level. The Blob, which like there's so many different blobs, I don't know which one I've watched, and I'm not sure if I've ever seen the whole thing, but like I just remember this fucking blob coming towards the dock, and it's like coming up, oozing up through the thing, and like everybody's like turning into bones and shit. This is fucking creepy. I like it. So like I've never like seeked that one out, and I've always been kind of confused, like which is it, this the Blob? Because I've seen different ones, and I think there might be a short in one of the movies that's a blob like sort of thing, and but I've seen a couple blob things. Wherever there's a blob, it's probably creepy. This is I don't like the concept of the Blob. All right, Jaws, for making the whole world afraid to go to the fucking beach. And you know, I'm something my mom always wanted to fucking scuba dive, and I was always just sort of like, I'm not going in the water. Like, I was definitely somebody who was concerned about sharks, and thank you, Jaws, for doing that for me. I've now largely gotten over like a fear of sharks, but you know, maybe I'm stupid for doing that. Pet Cemetery, you know, for proving that some things really shouldn't come back from the dead. I don't know, man. It was just like, it's like my cat died, but now she's back and she's creepy. You know, it's something. I like animals, and like we've had a lot of pets. We've had pets die in my family. I watched Pet Cemetery when I was younger, and I was just sort of like, I don't like this. This creeps me out. And I always had like a real respect for Native American culture, and it was like tied as this house is built at a Native American burial ground. Oh man, that definitely got me. All right. The last thing that I will talk about today that I thought about just a little bit earlier was Willow. And there is a particular scene in that movie where the evil queen starts casting a spell over the army outside her gates, and it looks gnarly, man. Like the castle, and like really looks awesome. That whole movie looks great, and I love it for Val Kilmer, and and certain little things, and in particular this scene, which just really did haunt my dreams for a long time. And she's casting this spell, and they start transforming into pigs. Even the little brownies who are like these little foot tall creatures, they turn into little baby pigs, and all of them, the transformation of them into these pigs, from in their army, and even including in there is her own daughter, and like that. Oh, you feel it, and it's gnarly as hell. It's brutal. You're like, what the hell? How the hell gonna get the fuck out of this situation? Really, a gnarly moment, if ever there was one in a movie. Yeah. Willow for that scene alone, and a couple others, and Val Kilmer, the great Val Kilmer, rest in peace. Well, there it is, your Coolest Alive Halloween picks, the 13 scariest movies I personally have ever seen. These are the 13 ones that really scared my socks off. Maybe they'll do the same thing for you. I just thought, I'd never done one quite like that. I'm always like, well, what's the quality of the film or whatever? I'm like, what are the ones that just fucking freaked me out? These are them. But remember to join us Monday for music, Tuesday for animation, Wednesdays for comics, Thursdays for live action, Friday for all sorts of stuff, and Saturdays for our hour-long Mother Show. But these are 15-minute episodes, 5 days a week now. Just reviewing a lot of entertainment, and really not reviewing, just recommending wholeheartedly a ton of great stuff that I've absorbed over the years that I think you would enjoy too. Anyway, you can hit me up at jbs@blacklightdistrict.studio and let me know how some of this stuff that I'm recommending is sparking for you. And don't sleep on everything they don't want you to know. My Esoteric Wisdom Show, not on Sunday. Oh, sorry, I should say now on Sundays, not on Sundays. We were on Monday. I just moved it to Sundays now to accommodate the new schedule for Coolest Alive. And, that show is where the real map of this universe unfolds. If you want to get savvy on some real underground shit that's going on, I know some things. And again, Blacklight District Studios, music, comics, merch, always evolving. You can back us on Kickstarter now, even a little bit late. It's easier by going to blacklightdistrict.studio, where you can listen to music and read some comics and stuff. It's awesome. Visit us over there. Anyway, this is Jesse Blaze Snyder signing off from the Blacklight District, saying stay cool and stay alive, my friends. Love you. Bye-bye. You've been listening to Coolest Geek Alive with me, your host, Jesse Blaze Snyder. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more excellent geek culture content. Thanks for listening.
It's my favorite part! Isn't that heavy? I played that! It's gonna be fucking awesome! Coolest alive! It's gonna be fucking awesome. Stay with your tribe. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Revenge of the Geeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Week after weeks. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Laughing with you. It's gonna be fucking awesome. And cry sometimes too. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Spelling it out. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Making you shout. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Talking some shit. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Living your shit. My voice is fucking awesome. Food in our mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Get in the mouth. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Tell all your friends. It's gonna be fucking awesome. be fucking awesome. Fucking awesome. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Just wait. You'll see. You'll all see.
The podcast playground. All right.